Hello and welcome to another Demon 212 PSN review. Today I'm going to be taking a look at Ghostbusters Sanctum of Slime, which if you've never played it before, well, it's a bit of an odd one. It's like a top-down shooter like Zombie Apocalypse, but done with Ghostbusters, and therefore you're actually firing proton packs and stuff. Anyway, you've got single-player, multiplayer, of which you can play 4-player local or online. However, finding a 4-player online game took me around about 7 hours of searching just to get that trophy. So that's quite a bit of a problem. I'd like to think now that it's out in the UK as well that it's going to be easier to find, because when I played it I was playing the US version. Well, this is the US version. Help and options, you've got basics. You can look at your controls but can't change them. You can look at your settings and change the vibration volume, and that's about it. So I'm going to put it on single player for now, of which you might have straight away noticed this is not the Ghostbusters. They do explain it in the story, but I'll quickly mention it here. Basically, the Ghostbusters are tired and want a break, so they hire 4 new people. I understand that Dan Aykroyd and them didn't want to do another video game. I think the last one was excellent. However, I don't understand that, saying as they've given their licenses to this company to do the video game, that they couldn't just draw them in, because there's no FMV, so it's not as if they'd have to record their voices. All the cutscenes are done like this, comic book style, and it's pretty much the biggest downside as well, but I'll move on to that very soon. So basically, I just don't understand why they couldn't draw them in for the main characters and draw them in the cutscenes like they do anyway. They draw them in to explain why they're hiring rookies. It just doesn't make any sense, especially because they've made 4 new Ghostbusters instead of at least changing to the Extreme Ghostbusters, which people would have known. But that's just literally a stupid minor gripe from someone who's an avid fan of the Ghostbusters and, quite frankly, misses being able to play as Rhea. So anyway, the cutscenes, as I was mentioning, the reason they're disappointing is they're pretty lengthy, they're pretty boring, and you have to watch every single one of them if you are a trophy or achievement whore and want all of them. And to be fair, I do like the game enough to want to go for all the trophies on this, but I can't stand the cutscenes, so I have a feeling it's going to be a case of finding one afternoon, sitting playing on a 3DS and just leaving them running. So, gameplay wise, as I say, it's a top-down shooter, a bit like Zombie Apocalypse. It even looks similar to a graphics style in the way that the rings around the players. As you might have noticed, all 4 of us are on the screen. 3 are being controlled by computers at the moment, just for ease of putting it on single player. You are always all there, but it doesn't make the game easier, because the AI can be a bit dumb. Like, for example, if there are a horde of enemies coming after him, and 3 of you are down, he tries to save one of you, instead of doing the smart thing of killing 2 or 3 of the enemies to make it possible to save you. As you might have also noticed, the environments are rather destructive, and you have to destroy them in order to find the Stay Puft Marshmallow Men figurines that are hidden around the level. And basically there's 4 on every level that has them, because not every level does have them. There's things like Driving Ecto 4, I think it's called. I'll show it off, don't worry. And things like levels that are just boss levels that, of course, you don't get them on. As you also might have noticed, Slimer makes an appearance. He's pretty much on almost every level as well, and he's just there as a kind of a bonus to get him killed as fast as you can and something comes out. Like this here is a cash multiplier. You can get cash multipliers, but they're just points and they don't really do anything. You can get damage multipliers, which obviously make you more powerful. You can get invincibilities, which, to be fair, they say invincibilities, but they're not full invincibility. You can still get stunned and trapped by the enemies when they slime you and things like that. It just means that you can't get hurt. They still come in handy though for rescuing people and for boss battles when you get them on kind of boss battles. The enemies are varied as hell. There's like tons, pretty much every level you get a load of new ones, and they've all got their energy bars underneath. And as you go through the game, you get new weapons, and you have to use certain weapons to defeat certain enemies. So, seeing as I've pretty much shown you everything I can on this level, I'll cut into a different one. So, here we go then. We've got, well, I'm on a level now where all the weapons are available. As you might have noticed, the enemies come up as different colours, and it's a case of, well, mix and matching. So when there's multiple colours here, it's a good idea to have some of you on reds, which is the proto pack, some of you on this yellow shockwave. And when the blue enemies appear, it's pretty much a case of swap to the blue slimy type gun, because they tend to be the hardest, so get them killed as soon as possible. when a Ghostbuster goes down, you can rescue him, or the AI can rescue him, and to be fair, the AI usually gets there first, but when it's you doing it, you just have to button bash the X button, and you'll save them, and obviously the faster you button bash, the better. So when only one of you is down, try and send your best button basher. It's just one of those though with the different weapons. You might have noticed that I'm not using the trap at any point. Well, the traps only come into play with bosses, and not even every boss. It's a case of wearing the boss down, then throwing the trap under him, then you do also some more button mashing, because it's a kind of dance mini game where it's like X, X, square, circle, triangle, X, square, and you just have to bash as fast as you can in order to get them locked away. So that's pretty much everything I can mention with that then. I will now show off a boss, and then obviously the Ecto thing, which I think my brother's reminded us it's Ecto 4WD and for 4-wheel drive, and it might be Ecto 4WD1, I can't really remember, it's not exactly important. So I'll cut the boss off, cut to the boss, show that off, then show the Ecto thing off. So this is basically a demonic possessed train, and you just have to wear them down and kick the crap out of them. And the bosses, you may think they match up with colour, and it's something, to be fair, that when I first done this boss, we were going mental trying to work out which weapon hurt him the most. And then a little message came up in between one of the levels while it was loading: bosses are neutral, weapons will hurt him equally. So just blast them with your proto, because it tends to be the most accurate, because it kind of warms on. So that's pretty much a boss then. As I say, you just wear them down, then chuck the trap out, although this is one of them where you don't, to be fair, chuck the trap out, but when you do it, you just push R2 and throw it underneath them, and then do the minigame, as I say. So onto the Ecto car thing. So this is the new weird car thing, as I say, that is a 4-wheel drive truck, and Winston tends to be the one to drive it. And basically he controls the car, so you don't have to worry, and you just blast the hell out the enemies, which obviously is easier on 4-player, because as you've just seen there, not all the computers tended to actually bother firing. So definitely play the game multiplayer if you can. And gameplay wise, well, there's 12 missions, of which pretty much all of them can be beat in about 10 minutes. I've had a couple where they've went slightly over, but I've also had a couple where they've went slightly under. So overall the game will last you about 2 hours, unless you miss the collectibles and replay it, and it'll last you about 15 hours if you watch the cutscenes. And yes, that is an over exaggeration, it's just because they really do drag on, and they really are just boring. So it'll probably, to be fair, there's probably only about an hour of cutscenes, maybe less. But while the game seems short when I've said that, and it is, it's only really short if you only ever plan to beat it once. Personally, with these types of games, they're always great to chuck on when you've got, well, 3 mates round, or in my case, 2 brothers and a mate round. We tend to always go for this and Zombie Apocalypse and TNT Races, and just go for anything and just have an hour or 2 on it, and it means that we can overall beat the game around about 15 times in the course of a year. So as I say, if you've got mates and you really enjoy it, you'll get a lot out of it. If not, then you'll beat it once, probably never play it again, and you'll think, well, that's not really been worth it for 2 hours of gameplay. So just have a think before you buy it, and do remember there is a demo. So there we go then, that's been the review. I hope you've enjoyed it, or at least found it helpful. You might have noticed I didn't score the game. Well, that's because it's a matter of personal opinion, and yours may very well differ from my own. I'm just here to show you a bit about the game. If you like it or not, well, that's up to you. If you don't like it, or you do like it, feel free to comment. Also, if I haven't answered any of your questions that you may have had, I might have forgot something, or it might just be something obscure. Again, feel free to comment, ask, always willing to help out. Otherwise, if you don't like commenting on YouTube, head over to www.vc-forums.com, where you can chat with me and a bunch of other lads who love the VC, the WiiWare, and hell, even a lot of other systems. We cater to pretty much everything. You can just go there, have a chat about a game, ask about some games, etc. So until next time, this has been Demon212, signing off.